I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Yo, what's good, everybody? You are now listening to another episode of the Man Listen Show. But before we get started, let's hear a few words from our sponsors.
D's adding that flavor to your function. D's Daiquiri. Good people, good vibe, one drink at a time. Good people, good vibe, one drink at a time. Flavor to your function. D's Daiquiri. Good people, good vibe, one drink at a time. Good people, good vibe, one drink. Wanna kick back, wanna just vibe. Where to kick back? Let me first slide to the drink store. Let me just buy DD drink mixes, all of them fire. Fill me up a case, I'm finna drop bread. Marvelous mango, classic and red. Took them to the party, these folks won't leave me alone. They wanting me to share, they better get their own. DD's adding that flavor to your function. DD's Daiquiri. Good vibe, one at a time. Good vibe, one at a time.
Yo, what's up? Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. You can also listen to our old shows on our website, www.manlistenshow.com. Go to YouTube, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, and let everybody know about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Mark B. Let's bring the crew in.
What's up?
Hey, what's good?
All right, we live on Facebook. What's up with y'all? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Well, Putin done lost his mind, y'all. You know, last time we recorded the show, you know, I can't even remember what we was talking about, but I know they was talking about invading the Ukraine, and he finally did it. So it's been going on, I think, like 7 days since the Russian decided to invade the Ukraine, and you know, it's just been dominating the news, obviously, because of the potential threat to the world. And normally we talk about black topics on this show, but considering black people live in the world, we're going to talk about this as well. What y'all think?
Hey, I think the writing was on the wall 20 years ago when he got elected, or when he seized power. It was going to happen at some point. So the shock and awe is like, I mean, I understand it because it actually happened, but we knew this was coming for years.
I'll be honest with you.
Really didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really know it was coming. I don't really keep track of European hot topics, you know, just because there's not a lot of us over there. I probably should. I mean, we should all be aware of what's going on in the world, but I'm not really, I wasn't really knowledgeable of it until here recently. And basically what it is NATO, which is basically the West. So the US and the UK, France, Germany, all the countries that, you know, are the West, they are a part of NATO. Mm-hmm. There's several other member countries in NATO as well. And a lot of them are in Europe. The Ukraine, I believe, used to be part of the former Soviet Union. So they share a border with Russia.
Right.
Ukraine wants to join NATO. So of course, Russia had a problem with that because, listen, we don't want NATO right next door, just like the US didn't want, you know, Russian missiles in Cuba. You understand what I'm saying? So they were like, hey, we don't want, you know, NATO being right next door to us. So that started a whole lot of stuff. They actually invaded the Ukraine, or helped, you know, separatist people of the Ukraine take over a portion of the Ukraine called Crimea. And I remember seeing something about that, but again, you know, I don't really care about you, European, basically white on white, war or whatever. But yeah, so that's what's really going on. So I guess Putin's got a beef with the Ukraine because they want to be down with us, and it just started a whole war up in this thing. So see, Enrique, what y'all think?
Well, that was the part that I didn't know until my husband told me like a couple days ago that basically they just are trying to protect their borders like everybody else was doing. And so once I heard that, I cared even less about what they got going on. Like, obviously, I care about the unnecessary loss of life, but I mean, I get sick of vilifying people just because they're doing the same thing that the US does, because we love running around bullying folks and killing folks and providing guns and support to the people that we want to provide guns and support to. So really, to me, this is all just a part of something that the US has going on behind the scenes that we really don't know the full story. And since I don't know the full story, I'm going to reserve my opinion until I see just how deep the US's claws are into the middle of this little beef they got going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same way with me. Lav made a good point. Everybody knew it was coming as soon as he, was elected to run Russia. You knew something was coming, even if it wasn't this, it was something. That's just the type of person he is. But as far as, Russia and Ukraine, they've been battling since what, the 80s or 70s, whenever the USSR decided to divide. So it was just a matter of time before it was coming. I'm not sure why the US always wants to run and jump to everybody's aid. I mean, I don't like, the innocent killing. I understand that if anybody's getting bullied or babies and, people who shouldn't be in war are getting killed, I understand if you have the resources to help. But just every time I see the US being involved, for one, you got problems at home, worry about what's going on in this house first before you run around trying to save the world. And two, typically if they're trying to save anybody, there's something that they have, invested in it, like they're trying to save themselves. So I don't know if it's because they're scared of Russia, or if it's just really they really want to see Ukraine stand on its own and continue to help. So I don't know. So I really haven't read a whole lot lately, even since the war started. The majority of the stuff that I had read was just in the previous months and years that led up to it.
Well, I think that the main thing is for US interests, it's about keeping Russia in check and Putin in check. Of course, we're there's a lot of minerals, valuable minerals, and of course oil that's at play. But I think that for the Ukraine, them wanting to maintain their independence, being a part of NATO and getting help from the West is critical, because as you see right now, Russia hasn't even dedicated their full army, their full military into going into the Ukraine. And right now the Ukrainians are, they holding their own, but that's because, that's like, big brother fighting little brother. If you kind of taking it easy, but at any minute he can just, employ his full strength and just pound you out. So I think that, Russia has been suffering some setbacks, but it's basically a foregone conclusion that if they want to take the whole country, they'll take the whole country. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really too concerned about it, just because I know the history of I don't know like all the history of the countries, but I know one thing. I know they're two racist white countries. Russia is extremely racist towards Black people, and the Ukrainians, they're known to be racist as well. So for me, I mean, I was like, hey, knock yourself out. I was concerned because, the impact goes bigger than just what's happening across the world in the Ukraine. You instantly saw gas prices go up. And when we talk about being in the pandemic still, because we are still in the pandemic, inflation being like it is, and we talk about wealth and Black people, we know that we're already on the bottom. So anything that can make it harder for us to live, I'm definitely keeping an eye on that, because whether we are watching it, whether we care about it all, it still does impact us. But in terms of, the humanitarian piece, yeah, I mean, I don't want to see innocent people hurt. I don't want to see, their country destroyed. But again, they're not friends of us. And proof positive was that was when they were trying to flee, when they were trying to let the citizens or the people who were non-military evacuate from the country by train. They was kicking the Africans off. They were saying, nah, you can't go. All the white people go first. So I knew I was justified in how I was thinking. Did y'all see that?
Yeah,
I
that's crazy.
saw that. Yeah, that's crazy. But you said something about there's a racist white country. I was like, man, that's redundant, right? I mean, there is not a white country that isn't racist. So
that's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Because I mean, we go back to NATO. You say the West. No, it's all the white European quote unquote countries that are in NATO. If you look at there's no countries that's no brown countries per se, or black or brown countries in NATO.
Yeah. But I think, for us, when I say you're right, there isn't any racist. There is no non-racist white country on the planet. But I think that for us, it's important because when you look at our military, there's a lot of us fighting for our military. And there's a lot of young black ADOS men and women fighting for our country. And most of us have children who are around draft age. I don't think they're going to bring the draft back, but they're around that age where, hey, saying, hey, listen, we need all hands on deck, and it's time to fight. So again, that's another piece that I really, was really skeptical about. I don't think the U.S. has any intentions. I think Biden said in the State of the Union last night, they don't have any intentions on sending any U.S. troops into Ukraine, because that would really start World War III. Right. That would just really, destroy the planet. Yeah. But they are sending them aid. They're giving them intelligence and things like that. But again, the treatment of the Africans, and I was like, what are y'all doing in the Ukraine? Like, but I guess you got, professional athletes, you got students or whatever. But that was just a trip.
Or they were escaping their own country at some point, possibly. They may have took refuge in Ukraine. So, they're refugees going to somewhere else, and now they're going to Ukraine. Now they're having to leave their place of refuge and go somewhere else. So that's probably a big part of it too.
Yeah. And some of them were students. People like, what are y'all doing in Ukraine? I guess they study abroad. I mean, people travel the world. So yeah, but go ahead and say, I'll cut you off.
No, I was gonna say originally when I had read a couple of things where people were like, "Oh, I didn't leave because I didn't think it was gonna happen," and I was like, "Well, why would you wait around to see? Like, you should have been gone." But then, like Lav said, I got to thinking that maybe they didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, it's a lot easier said than done. Maybe they can't just up and jump and move to another country or leave or find another flight. Because I know several airports were bombed, and then, like you said earlier, Marv, a lot of Black people weren't able to get on those trains, but I was even seeing Black, white, and everybody. I'm like, what are you waiting around for? But again, it's easier said than done, I suppose.
Yeah, I've lived in Texas for a good portion of my life, a lot of it down in Houston. So when storms come, when hurricanes come, some people just try to ride it out. Some people are just like, nah, I ain't gonna go. I'm just gonna bunker down. I'm gonna hunker down and ride it out. But there's some people who just aren't able to evacuate. They don't have transportation. They don't have anywhere to go. They don't have family or, the means to pay for, lodging away from home. And there's no telling how long this gonna last. I know they're in talks right now trying to come to terms to reach peace, but yeah, there's no telling. So hey, make sure y'all leave a comment. We got a couple folks. My boy Vest. Yeah, Vest, we got the sound going, man. We still trying to figure it out, bro. But I appreciate you letting me know. And our boy Paul, our boy Money Max, Mad Money Max, he said Russia's central bank is still a part of the bank for international settlements. So that's the one thing that the US is doing, is a lot of the sanctions that they are putting on Russia, in terms like the Russian oligarchs, basically the ruling class, the rich elite. A lot of the sanctions that they're putting on Russia is really like just killing their economy. I saw something on social media. One of the brothers from Earn Your Leisure, that's a dope podcast that I follow. They were talking about how basically the Russian ruble is less than Robux dollars. You know, Roblox is a game, and they have their own denomination in the
Yeah.
game. Basically, the Russian ruble is worth less than that. So I mean, they're paying the cost literally for this
And
war.
they're panicking. Well, I ain't gonna say they're panicking, but Chelsea FC, a huge international soccer team, they're owned by a Russian cat. He put it up for sale today.
Yeah,
You know, he trying to, I guess, cash out while he can.
I saw that.
Well, I thought he said he's gonna get the proceeds to people who were being affected by the war. So I mean, I don't know how much of the proceeds.
Yeah. Well, then just get a team away then. You know,
Right.
just give it to him. Yeah.
Hey, but you know, my boy brought this up. My boy B Dub. Check this out. Because you know, I'm a boxing fan, and there's two former I always call them Russian. Like when I look at like Ukraine, Belarus.
It's actually four though, but I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I call them all Russian. So if you're a boxing fan, like there's two current boxers, you know, Osik, I can't remember his first name, Kelly Osik,
and
Lomachenko. These guys are like champions.
They're champions,
right?
Yeah.
They're champions. They're like active boxers champion. But then there's the Klitschko brothers, who I always thought they was just Russian, you know, but I guess they're Ukrainian. And Vitaly, the oldest of the two, he's actually the mayor of Kiev, the capital city of the Ukraine, and they're fighting for their country. You know, these guys, like I said, they're active boxers. They're going back to defend their country. I saw a video of this, and it was so gangster. This old lady, this a grandma, she went to a Russian soldier and gave him some sunflower seeds, and she said, "This is for when you die. Sunflowers will grow where your body rests at." This is a grandma.
Yeah.
So it made me think.
Like real or a movie?
This is real. You can see it on social media. She went up to him like gangster. And
That's
you
It
know,
was like some Ivan Draco's type of stuff.
hey,
Right.
so it's not only the military that's fighting, I mean, but the people
Right.
are fighting as well. And I just thought about it. Wouldn't it be dope if you lived in a country that you love so much that you'd be willing to die for?
Mhm.
Just like that. Wouldn't it be dope? But we don't have that.
I can't even phantom the
But
thought.
see, also,
That doesn't sound right.
you know, that kind of goes to the point you were talking about our military. You know, there are a lot of brothers, young brothers in particular, who go to the military like it's a mean, because you know you can make a good living out of that, and it could put you in some good positions. You know, take advantage of everything they have to offer, but you just have to keep in mind that your life could be at the whim of somebody who really, number one, doesn't care about you too much at all, and so these guys ain't even in the military though, Marv. Like you said, they're professional athletes. They could rest on their laurels. They could come to the U.S. You saw the president. They had him on that call with the U.S. was like, "Hey, we can get you out of there." He was like, "I don't need a ride. I need ammunition." You know what I'm saying? So they down for the cause. But yeah, I probably could see. I don't know who would do that if it came to it in the U.S. Seriously.
I mean,
maybe Terry Crews.
But I mean, let's keep it real. If the Russians invade the U.S., which that ain't gonna happen because we got the most powerful military in the world. I mean,
and we're pretty isolated. We're pretty isolated too.
Yeah. We're gonna stand on ours though. I mean, we got the Navy, but like if it came down to like fighting in the streets, we're gonna stand on ours. You know what I mean? Because like I said, they still owe us some money. So like you can't tear this up until I get my money.
Yeah.
You can't do that till I get mine first. Then you can do what you want to do. But yeah.
Plus, America is a savage. We're still the only ones that use nuclear weapons, and they know we will push that button.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about anything happening with us, especially on, like you said, on our turf. I think it's a little bit different when you go over there and we're a little outnumbered, especially in like that Middle East, Asia region. And that's only because a lot of them have used like religion so much to manipulate their minds, like of those people. Like they believe like that's the greatest honor, like in, you know, the afterworld or the next life or in heaven, like, you know, you receive like the highest gift if you sacrifice yourself. So they have no problem strapping up and running in the building and taking out everybody. To where the US, you're right, we're powerful in numbers. We have the most powerful weapons. And like you said, we still have nuclear weapons. But when it comes down to it, not too many of us compared to them is just gonna strap up and be like, you know, forget it, I'm going in. Like,
Yeah.
and that, and I'm not even saying us as in black
Say
people.
I'm
I'm saying
going
us as
in.
in a
Yeah.
period.
No.
I'll
You
shoot something up, but I'm not gonna run in there like that with a
You're
book
gonna
bag.
have to knock on this front door in order to get me to fight anybody
Right.
for America.
And that's everybody in America, every race. Like we're built
yeah,
a
it's
little
just,
different.
it's just, right. It's just different. It's just different. I don't know if it's, you know, we get complacent being over here a lot, honestly. And you said the Klitschko's, you called them Russian. Well, see, they were, when they were born, Ukraine was in Russia.
Yeah.
So they were Russian when they were born. So they've been
Right.
having this conflict for a while. So they've been ready, you know, they've been mentally prepared for it. Probably they've been taught that, hey, this is your homeland, Ukraine right now. We don't mess with Russia no more. This is us. And so if it come down, are you willing to die for it? We've never had a conflict like that in the US as US citizens. Nobody on our soil since I guess the Civil War was the last war fought on in the US mainland, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, before that was it the French war? Was it the French? Listen, I don't know.
Yeah, French Indian War. I don't know.
Yeah, French Indian War. Yeah,
yeah.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
And then the US Mexican War.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So
Last week, you talking about?
but I think that just drives home the point that I said in the past, that when you have Black people, ADOS, fighting for this country, it doesn't get more patriotic than that
At all.
We're fighting for a country where we still don't have full citizenship. We're fighting for a country that still owes us. So it don't get more patriotic than the brothers and sisters who fight for this country. And I just hope that you know, peace can be had, because I don't want us to get involved and we put ADOS at risk, you know, fighting for this war. But anyway, we're gonna take a little commercial break, then we'll be back. Are costly cable bills giving you the blues? Well, Magic Streams is your answer. Watch all of your favorite teams live in HD. You will also get access to over 1,500 movies and be able to watch TV shows instantly. Magic Streams. Click the link in our bio to get more information. All right, y'all, we back. So, you know, your boy Biden, he gave a speech last night. You know, he talked about a lot of things, but you know, one of the things that stood out, and I can't remember if this was at the State of the Union or not, but he said that he reduced, like the measures that they have taken have reduced Black poverty by 30%. And Black Twitter let him have it, because the math just don't seem to be mathing. I mean, I don't know how it is where y'all live at, but for me, it's tough out here. You know, inflation is real. These jobs, they're not giving additional salaries, they're not giving us increases, but you know, Biden seems to be really, really, really pandering, or trying to pander to us as Black people, because I think he knows he's in trouble. I think they know that they're in trouble with us. They haven't canceled the student loans. We haven't really seen any type of return on investment with our vote by putting Biden in office. So they did make a symbolic move by nominating a Black woman for the Supreme Court. Now, I think it's a good thing. I do want to see us represented on the court. I mean, definitely. And she's a young woman as well. I think she's in her early 50s.
Oh yeah,
52,
53 somewhere.
Yeah,
around.
she's in her early 50s. So, you know, we talked about it in past shows about how, you know, basically if you want to, you could just die on the bench. You know what I'm saying? So if they put you on there for a good amount of time. So that's been the trend of past presidents, to put somebody on there who is young, who can, you know, basically represent whatever ideological side, whether it be conservative or liberal. So she definitely checks that box, and she's passed confirmation for, you know, other positions she's been put up in front of. So the likelihood of her getting confirmed, I mean, I think it's slightly high, but we're still in this polarized political climate, so we don't know. But I'm happy to see a Black woman be on the bench. Still kind of reserved because I do think it's symbolic. But as a crew, what do y'all think? Black woman on the Supreme Court. We start with our resident attorney, Arika. What you think?
Man, I'm not impressed. I mean, yay, but I'm not impressed because I would rather have someone on the bench for the rest of their life that thinks like me than someone who looks like me. I'm more concerned with actual change instead of just, like you said, this symbolic representation of change. So then we're going to like put her up on this little, hey, first Black lady on the Supreme Court pedestal, and then just completely ignore her track record, which seems to be very minimal, except for her being on that huge Lockheed Martin case where she basically stopped all of the Black defendants who won all that money in their settlement from actually getting paid because she refused to, confirm it. So I haven't really seen much from her record, but what I have seen wasn't impressive to me. And so that makes me more nervous than anything else that she's going to get on the bench and just ride with her good white brethren that she likes to, lay up with. So, I mean, I'm not impressed. Like I said, I'd rather see somebody whose thoughts are progressive than someone whose appearance is progressive. But here we are. It's Biden, so I didn't expect much.
And for those
and definitely didn't expect anything from Kamala.
So, and for those of y'all who didn't get that joke, Judge, what's her name? Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's down with the swirl, just like Madam VP. But yeah, see what you think.
I don't even think there's anything else I could add after what Arika said. Like, she described it so eloquently. She's right. I would rather have somebody that thinks like me, that looks like me. I mean, if not, I mean, it's just, she's just pretty much a shell sitting up there based off of her track record. So I'm with Arika. I'm not impressed at all.
All of them know, it's either Yale or Harvard, right? When it comes to the Supreme Court. So for the most part, all of them they might be off in their thought process slightly on certain things, but for the most part, they're probably pretty agreeable in that room on it, and when they do disagree, it's simply for partisan reasons.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's awful partisan because
and that's why they disagree. But they're actually
your boy, to your point, hold your train of thought, lad. Your boy, to your point, Clarence Thomas, he definitely looks like us, but he definitely don't think like us. And he's been a horrible Supreme Court justice when it comes to things that matter for folks like us. But go ahead, lad. I'm sorry, man.
No, that was it. But I was looking. Man, he'll be the longest serving judge after this guy retires, I believe.
And see, and that's the issue. Now here we are, round 2, another placeholder that's supposed to make us be like, oh, look what Biden did for us. And then she's gonna what? Do the same type of things he's doing. Absolutely nothing.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't think she's on the same.
Clarence Thomas is
well, I mean, he's pretty bad,
he's
but
the worst Supreme Court justice like ever. Like people have said that seriously.
But
yeah, because he doesn't really speak out that much. I mean, he just kind of just rides with
writes no opinions.
Everybody on the conservative side. Yeah, he's really worthless. Yeah, for real.
But she hasn't really been on anything major, so we don't even know.
That's the trend, though. Like I said, Amy Coney Barrett, she's an instructor. She worked private practice. She really didn't do too much either. So they're just trying to find people that fit certain demographics at this point that can be on the bench for a long time. Because I think when you do that too, you get somebody who hasn't gone through the fire. They almost feel obligated to ride your coattail. Whatever you say, I gotta agree with that, because he or she appointed me to this position, and I'm indebted to them. I owe them, and so that's what it is.
And in addition to that, so like let's say when you first become a judge, or when she first gets in that position, because she doesn't have that much experience, 9 times out of 10, she's probably going to find somebody to attach herself to, and then like she's gonna have on training wheels. And so while she's trying to figure it out, she's going to be riding along with probably the majority. Because I mean, nobody comes into work on day one making waves, especially somebody who doesn't have a for real track record. Now, if you are already a boss at your level, whatever you were doing, you're gonna come in and, you know, kick up shit and see what you could do, shake the tree a little bit. But for someone who's what we could only find one case on her that she's ruled on, that's like a major case, like to be deciding cases that literally structure like major laws and interactions between the states, like no. I don't.
And she was on in DC court, which they say is basically the next rung up under the Supreme Court is the DC Court of Appeal. So, you know, she probably had opportunity.
Yeah, I don't have the same concerns that you do, Erika, in terms of whether she's going to side with, you know, the conservative or the liberal side. I mean, we do have, I mean, Judge Sonia Sotomayor, she's really, you know, outspoken and opinionated when it comes to a lot of the different laws or changes to the Constitution that have been put into place by those who were put into place by Trump, that gave the conservative side of the bench, you know, power. I think it's what, 5-3 or 6-3 or something like that. I don't know. It was
6-3.
Yeah, 6-3. Yeah. So, and then Roberts is the one who's been riding with, he's the Chief Justice, so he's been riding with the liberals, but he's more so the most reasonable out of those on the conservative side. Yeah. So I think this highlights the major mistake that Obama made when he had an opportunity to put a Supreme Court justice on the bench, and he chose Merrick Garland. And Merrick Garland was, you know, I mean, right now he's the current Attorney General, but he's as bland comes. And when you talk about fighting for something symbolic, you know, we were still on that sugar high from Barack Obama, you know, seeing a black AG, 2 black AGs under Obama, right? If Obama had decided, listen, I'm going to appoint a black woman to the Supreme Court, I don't think Hillary loses to Trump.
It would have been Kamala though, so
it could have been, but I still don't think. Don't get it messed up. I have a lot of beef with Kamala, but when it comes to like her being a dog in terms of going after injustice, going after other people, like she's articulate, she's eloquent. I mean, she just doesn't. I don't think she has the same beliefs or that we have, or the same value system that we have as ADOS. But when it comes to that, but I just think that had Obama put a black woman candidate, I think that all the people who set out to vote would have gone out. All the people who were disenchanted or just like, man, I don't care, Hillary and Trump, it don't make a difference. I don't think that happens. And that was a strategic error on Barry's part.
I don't know.
I don't think
agree with that necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think, because for the most part, I mean, we talk about it, but you don't go through your mind thinking about the Supreme Court when you're looking at the candidates. You know,
no,
it's not you did this for me, so we're gonna come out and support you because of you.
Right.
If Obama did it, right? If Obama did it, a lot of people that liked Obama definitely didn't like Hillary. So it didn't matter what he would have done. She's not going to be able to ride the coattail because they just didn't like her.
I mean, why do you think that though? Because if Hillary,
I know people, including myself, who really just don't mess with her.
But listen, but if Hillary was put into office, then you still don't have somebody to say, all right, I'm gonna snatch that candidate back and put somebody else in there. They would have rolled with that candidate. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of voters who are more savvy and educated and realize that, hey, listen, it's important for us to maintain the presidential chamber.
Those people
because of the ability to nominate Supreme Court justices. Trump was an idiot.
But those people voted.
Trump put us behind as a country. He embarrassed us as a country. But what he did for the conservative side, he put 3 justices in there. And but that was the
talking about voted though. The people
but I think
these savvy people voted.
Yeah, the majority of people that vote aren't even thinking like you are, or like you and I are, as far as like who's going to be on the Supreme Court. Most people are just voting on who's going to be the president, and then that's it. They're not thinking about a whole lot of other stuff.
That's a problem, man. That's a problem.
But I'm not even talking about just us though. I just mean everybody. I don't think the country was necessarily ready to go from a black man being the first Black president to being, you know, the first woman or president. I think it was just too much. And I really think that Hillary and Trump, everybody that voted for her, the majority of them hated him.
Yeah.
The majority of people that voted for him at the time hated her. And so it was just like a battle of who hates whoever more and who can come up with the most lies. And he just happened to win.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know. I mean, hey, listen, we never know. Hindsight is 2020, but I do think it was a mistake. But I'm not that miffed about having a Black woman on the Supreme Court. I actually like the optics of it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the best for her. And you know, I think that it's important that we had that representation. I think it's overdue. I think it's about time. Because Black women are more than qualified.
Yeah.
They've done more than their share to carry the Democratic Party, to make sure that whatever small amount of power that they have right now, Black women are the catalyst behind that. So it's about time that something happened to show that, hey, listen, you are appreciated, even though it's somewhat symbolic.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. They've definitely outperformed for what you would expect for the demographic. They've outperformed in every area, not just politics, but like in education and the workforce, everywhere. They've overperformed more than any other demographic, right? So
I don't think outside of Kamala and Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, I mean, I think Republicans say there's not anybody who dislikes or hates Republicans more than Black women.
Yeah, and when given opportunity,
I got that.
Well, hey, that's what they say, but
yeah.
But when given opportunity, man, Black women is gonna take over and they're gonna lead, and they're gonna lead effectively. That's why I don't know. We talk about Kamala, but man, they need to just pull the reins off of her though, straight up. Just let her do some things, man.
But what can she do as VP though? I mean, we talk about like how she's not visible.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't really remember what Biden
though.
did under Obama. So what can she really do though?
She can be more vocal.
Be more vocal and visible. That's what I'm talking about.
Biden was too vocal to the point where I was like, these people. I didn't even think Biden would ever have a chance to win the presidential election. He's the vice president. I felt like he wouldn't shut up to the point where I felt like everybody in the country, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you would rather see Obama than Biden speak. Like he was kind of like just like almost not really unhinged, but he just said some off the wall stuff.
He's like a guard dog. He's like Obama's guard dog.
Yeah, like he would just get up here saying anything crazy. So I just think she needs to be more outspoken. I mean, she's only got one chance. This is her last term. She's planning on running with Joe next time. Not gonna have another opportunity.
I think what it is though is they learn from Biden, because if you look back onto like past elections, there's this book and I can't remember the title. We talked about when Obama, he ran against he ran against Romney, or did he run against
no, McCain.
He ran against McCain first, right?
And then Romney.
So when he ran against McCain, right, they talked about he had Biden and how Biden was an asset, because make no mistake, Crime Bill Joe, Jim Crow Joe, the BS he pulled with Anita Hill during the confirmation for Clarence Thomas, all those are problematic. But we're looking at Joe now, is when Joe was in his 80s or whatever. But back in the day, Joe was a beast. Joe was a beast in terms when it comes to politics and debating. So he was definitely an asset for Obama. But like you said, see, he couldn't shut up. He kept making those gaffes. He kept making mistakes, to the point where it was almost questionable if he was going to be considered, to be VP for the second election. I mean, it was almost like, hey, listen, we might need to put somebody else in here, man, because this dude keep messing up. So I think maybe Joe's cabinet, realizes that Kamala may have the propensity to maybe she'll outshine Joe, or maybe she'll make a mistake. And that's why they're keeping the muzzle on her. That's why they're keeping her from being more outspoken.
Maybe she can read a teleprompter without slurring her words. Who knows?
Still, this circles back to my point about letting these politicians die in office. It should not be an 80-year-old grandpa running our country. That's what's wrong with it. We got all these old people who are, products of that time period making decisions. And
Yeah.
Kamala, the problem with her is that we have no idea what she's doing. She can let us know what she's doing without, you know what I mean, being too outspoken or taking the sunshine away from old man Joe, but it just doesn't make any sense that I can't name one thing, not one program, not one project that she's worked on, not one, you know, situation
Yeah.
in the country that she's spoken on or, you know, chosen a side. Like, she's riding the fence and riding it very quietly. I have no idea what she thinks about anything. And that makes me not like her.
Well, they did give her a project when they started, and that project was immigration, and that was circling the toilet. So you see, they quietly got her up off of that. So I mean, I think they're probably searching for a way to put her more out there, or they might just be like, look, you just write it out, and you know, when it comes time for us to run again. I don't know. Do you think Joe was even gonna run again? The dude's old. And think about it.
Unfortunately,
We only 1 year in. We only 1 year in.
but you're 1 year in, but you're 1 year from starting the election cycle, though. So, I mean, when you think about it that way, he'd have to make that decision has to be made like now already.
No, it's gonna be like Weekend and Bernie's 4 years from now. They just gonna be holding him up, making him pretend like he's talking.
Dang. Hey, and on that note, our resident Republican is going to put us out with a bang. But hey, y'all, we appreciate y'all rocking with us live on Facebook. Make sure that you go to our website, www.manlistenshow.com. You can listen to this show. You can listen to our past shows. Go to our YouTube. You can watch the show. You can leave a comment. You can give us a thumbs up. If you want our gear, go to our Instagram. You can click the link in our bio. You can find out how to buy our gear. You can check out all of our advertisers, our supporters. You can buy my book. You can buy Rika's book. You can just get everything that we are doing, and you can follow the show. Make sure you let everybody know about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. We'll holler at you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Raise student loan debt, Joe.
Now.
Right now.
Right now. Hey, it's kind of crazy that Joe got me them damn COVID tests that I ain't even really need, but he can't erase these student loans. What's up with that?
You got masks too. You got some masks too. Yeah.
What I'm supposed to do with these COVID tests? I can't use them to get into any venues or anything, so now I just got them at home just so I can just know.
You don't even need to take COVID tests no more. Trump was right. COVID, if you don't test, COVID's not there.